What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All the Mods Expert. Oh yeah, guys. So we're here in the end once again. We ended last episode trying to fill up our soul shard, and I've been doing some work here, getting this thing some kills. Now, we were talking about how I was going to figure out a way to keep the Enderman from teleporting away. So yeah, I did do that. Yeah, right here you can see there's glowing particles. I made an ender tether, right? So this thing is pretty cool, and it does something. It doesn't work exactly how I thought it was going to work. So originally, what I thought I was going to do is I was going to take this ender tether. Whoop, if I can get back up here. If I can get back up here, please. Yeah, do it from like the correct angle and the correct distance. So yeah, I was going to take this ender tether, and I was like, you know what? If this prevents Enderman from teleporting away in a certain area, I'll just go ahead and stick it right here, right? Sounds like a good idea. So look at the Enderman. He teleports. I look at him. Yeah, the ender tether makes the Enderman like go to that point, right? So I guess that would work okay if I'm right here, except the Enderman could just walk away from it. So it's not it's not ideal, really. So putting it up there really doesn't work. So the next suggestion that I thought that I was going to do, the next thing I thought I was going to try is stick it like back here or something. So yeah, that seems to work okay. So again, getting up on that thing is a real pain. Maybe I should remove the blocks underneath it and just go straight up. Anyway, so putting it right there works, right? So I look at this guy. He comes over here. I look at him. He'll constantly warp back there, right? Doesn't really do much. So if I grab a couple of these guys, well, let's grab a few. And I just keep looking at them. They all teleport to that one spot, but like they'll continue to kind of go around, and it's kind of hard to keep track of them. So yeah, this doesn't really work. I mean, it works great. It keeps them from teleporting away. I can look at them and then moves them back a little bit. They kind of get just a little bit out of range, so I have to move forward to really get at them. But you know, this works okay. It's not terrible. But yeah, what I found out with experimenting with this thing is if you put it underground, it can't warp the Enderman to you. So the Enderman just can't warp at all, and that's really what we want here. So if I stick it right there underneath the spike, I was kind of hoping it would keep the Enderman on top of the spike and always do damage to them. But no, it just prevents the Enderman from teleporting completely, which is awesome. Let me see if I can get back up here. Yep. This is a real pain. I got to figure out a better way to do this. Although we're not going to have to deal with this for much longer. Our soul shard is nearly full. But yeah, now that we have that underground here, if I look at a bunch of these Endermen, we can bring them over here. Come on, guys. Come on. This is like the worst part, is trying to get the Enderman over. I mean, you just have to look at them, but it seems like a lot of these guys are just so far away that I cannot get them to aggro. Okay, so now we got a decent amount of these guys coming over, right? So I can look at these guys all the time, and they just don't really want to teleport. They teleport a little bit right now because of the spike damage, but I think that's more of a visual thing. I don't think they're actually teleporting away. So these guys are no longer taking damage, so I can look at them all I want, and they're not teleporting away at all. So I can sit there and hit them with my sword, and that makes it so much easier. Hey, you remember last time when I looked at one of these guys and he immediately teleported away? Yeah, we don't have to deal with that anymore. That's so good. So we only need a few more kills on this soul shard, and it is just about there. I think 1600 is the maximum that we need. So yeah, just, you know, a few more Endermen here, and our whole soul shard will be filled maximum, and that'll be amazing. All right, I think we got enough over here. So while we're waiting on these guys to get down to 1 HP, I'll just eat a little bit of food and actually get my health up. Don't want to end up dying to something silly. All right, very good, very good. You're done. You're done. You're done. You're done. All right, so we need like 3 more Endermen. Okay, well, I thought we were gonna have enough right there. Guess I was wrong. All right, well, with the amount of Endermen we have coming over here now, we definitely will finish this up. So I'll go ahead and get that soul shard filled, and then we'll be back, guys. All right, guys, well, I just warped back from the end, and looking at the mini map, there's like Endermen all over the place. Not sure where these guys all are. Maybe they're underground. I don't know, but I just saw 3 of them above ground, and I killed them. I looked at the minimap, I was like, oh snap, there's a whole lot more of these guys. I guess they can easily stand on this grass path without teleporting away because it's slightly higher, so they're not taking the sunlight damage or whatever where they normally would teleport from. Anyway, so yeah, that's interesting. I guess some of them, as I was looking at them, went through the ender portal or whatever and got warped back to spawn. When I warp back here from that portal, and I keep getting a weird lag spike, I end up on this block right here. So I'm sure that's where those guys came from. So, oh yeah, we got guys down here. All right, let's start cleaning up the mess. Looks like some of these guys are one hit. Yeah, I think when they were on that spike and they were kind of like warping away, it actually did warp them. I'm not sure why it does that. All right, so we got a dirt block back. He stole dirt from somewhere. I'll have to figure that out. Probably in one of the planter, yeah, one of our planter beds where we have like crops growing upstairs. Anyway, I'm gonna figure that out and then we'll be back, guys. Alright guys, so I set up another spawner just like the one we have over here for the witches. I know they're not really that great to look at, but you know, honestly, they only serve one purpose. That's to spawn in monsters and then kill them. Now, I was going to go ahead and reuse the witch one, but I decided we probably should split these things up and have it into its own spawner. The Endermen are 3 blocks tall, whereas every other monster in the game that we're going to be spawning, aside from wither skeletons, are 2 blocks. So yeah, I thought it would just make sense just to make one that's going to be 3 blocks tall on the inside. So this one is 1 block taller than the other one. So it's exactly the same dimensions. It's 9 by 9 on the inside. We have a 3 by 3 hole in the center where the Endermen are going to fall down and then get killed by a spike. I just went ahead and made a new diamond spike. Yeah, these things are just a little expensive. If you guys remember, the recipe for that required these flawless diamond sword, which requires the flawless diamonds, which requires 2 diamonds per one of these flawless ones, and the atomic binder, and that is made with the enriched gold that you get from the calculator, gold ingot plus obsidian dust. We had all that stuff. We just had to make 6 of those. And then the reinforced stone, which is made on the calculator as well. That is a compressed cobblestone. And then the log pile thing, which is 4 logs into this block. Anyway, so yeah, it's a little bit of wood, a little bit of stone, a little bit of diamonds. And the hardest part of making this, I think the first time, was the machines, making the calculator and the atomic calculator. But we have those now. Anyway, so I made another diamond spikes. So we're going to set the spawner up in here, but I want to have it so there's 3 blocks of space above the spawner block itself. So if an Enderman decides to spawn on top of the spawner, yeah, it will have room to spawn. So the way the spawners work, monsters spawn 1 block below the same level as the spawner or on top of the spawner. And it can do that in a 9 by 9 area. So if you have the spawner right here, there's only 2 blocks of space, right? So that means there's 2 blocks of space if it tries to spawn anywhere in that layer. So you're pretty much limiting your spawns by 1/3. You don't want to do that. So yeah, you want it so there's enough space above the entire place, and then if it spawns below, it'll just drop down there. Otherwise, there'll be plenty of room elsewhere for the Enderman to spawn. So I think we should be good right like that. So we just need to remove this 1 block and replace that with the spawner block. And go and grab that guy. Our soul cage is what it's called. All right, so there's our soul cage. That should be in the exact center of this place. Now, I don't remember how these things work, if they need a redstone signal to work or if you need a redstone signal to turn them off. Yeah, so we'll figure that out. Looks like the redstone connects immediately, so it knows about that block. Oh, I fall down here. Where is my staff of travel? All right, I want to remove this block. Right, and then up above, we'll place a block down and put a lever on there. So let's go do that now. So we'll place a block right here, right? And then we'll put the lever on that so we know that's a block that we want. Now back down below, I do believe we have to manually, I guess we need to do this from up above. We need to break that block and then force the connection because it just doesn't connect by default. Yeah, that should be fine right here. Get that angle on it. We will grab our Yeta wrench. Right click on that. Maybe. Oh, did it connect? No. Maybe I have to place a block down here. Oh boy. Can I place it somewhere? Okay. How's that work? Okay, so now we're closer. Right click. There it is. Now it's force connected. All right, we can break that guy, and then I'll grab the other blocks from down here. Maybe. Can I grab that block? I guess I can never grab that block now. Okay, well, we got it. Also, down below this particular block, like we saw in the end, I did put another ender tether here. Yeah, so we always have that available. So the Endermen, when they spawn, they start taking damage. They won't teleport out. That's the one thing I definitely don't want happening here. All right, so we just had the center block here, and I had placed down the fast vector plates to push the monsters into the spike that'll be on top of this. Kind of like how we have the spike over here. Just a little floaty spike, right? And then we'll have a vacuum hopper below to collect all the drops. I think that's how we're going to end up doing this thing. So we should be pretty much good to go here. I can... let's see. Yeah, let's go and fill this in. Don't want... All right, I think that has to be completely dark inside for the Enderman to spawn. Okay, so you got some red X's here. So we should have red X's up there if I get rid of the torches. All right, so I guess first things first. Let's see if it spawns without the redstone signal. So right click that in there. It says bound to Enderman tier 5. Yes, it does. Okay. So we need to turn that off. Otherwise, we're going to get a lot of Enderman really quickly. Okay, so now the face on there is not glowing anymore. Wow, that's a lot of Enderman. So I wonder, is the other Ender Tether gonna work? These guys just don't want to teleport, I guess. So maybe it is working? I'm not sure. Those guys do a lot of damage. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's make sure we don't die out here to our mob spawner. That would just be silly. All right, so what I need to do is just let the Endermen despawn. I might kill them. I might just let them despawn. Probably just let them despawn. And then we need to put the vector plates up in there. So when the Endermen spawn, they get pushed down. We need to put the spike here and then have the vector plates so down there so the Endermen get pushed into the spawner. Or into the diamond spike, I mean. Anyway, let me get to that and then we'll be back, guys. Alright guys, so we got the rest of the spawner all buttoned up. We got the spike in there. We have our vector plates all pushing the monsters towards the center to the spike. We don't have the item collection system hooked up yet. And we might end up putting that into the same thing over here. Now, these Endermen, I do believe, drop those... Well, they drop Ender Pearls for one. They drop the Nebulous Heart, which you can turn into more Ender Pearls. And they also drop like those little things from RF Tools where you right-click them and you get parts. So we'll have to figure that out. I'm not sure if the spike will allow them to drop those certain things or not. But anyway, let's go ahead and turn this thing on. Let's see what the spawner ends up doing. Okay, that is a lot of Endermen. I like it. I like it. So we're going to be getting plenty of Endermen. Now you can see right there, there's a pearl that landed on top of the spike. That's one of those things that I was trying to avoid. And the only time that's ever going to happen is when an Enderman lands on top of that spike and stays there. And I think that's a 1 out of 81 chance. Like, it has to spawn directly below the spawner, land on that spike, and then not move. So, yeah, we get a little bit of loss, but honestly, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Okay, so it does look like we're getting those little question mark things. Let's go turn the spawner off. Okay, yeah, so we got Nebulous Hearts, we got Enderman Skulls, we got the question mark things, which I still can't remember the name of. Those are called Dimlet Parcels. Yeah, so we're going to want to be collecting a lot of these. If we ever get into RF Tools Dimensions, those are going to be very, very useful. Nebulous Hearts will also turn into more Ender Pearls if we want to do that. And then we're getting a decent amount of Ender Pearls, Enderman Heads, and Solidified Experience. So yeah, there's a lot of good things that we're getting out of this spawner. I like it. So we should probably figure out the amount of drawers that we're going to want to collect things in. So it looks like we're going to probably want another 1x1 drawer, and then we could put these. No, we're going to want 2 1x1 drawers. We can probably put these guys into a 2x2 into one of these. So we don't need a whole lot of those things, but it would be nice to have extras, right? Yeah, I don't really know. Let's check out the uses for the Enderman head. Maybe we want a whole lot of those. So they're used to make some of these machines. Okay. We can use to enchant for looting, which is, yeah, that's good, but I don't think we need like, 2,000 of them. We can use these to make a tormented Enderman head and the Ender Resonator. So it might be a thing where we want more than just one of them. Oh, and also for nutrient distillation. Yeah, there's, okay, you know what? There's no reason really to skimp out on these things. If we're going into these drawers, right? I mean, we can make these basic drawers, the 1x1, not the 2x2, fairly easy. They're not super expensive, so I'll probably do that. Maybe I'll just add 4 more drawers for all of these different things. We'll have to make 4 more void upgrades, so when they fill up, the excess just gets deleted and doesn't fill up our small storage crate back here. It does look like we have collected quite a few stuff since the last time I've emptied this thing, so we are getting other monsters that are spawning in here. Another thing I was kind of curious about, we're getting monsters spawning in the dark room up there because it is a dark room, just vanilla spawning mechanics. If we were to use like the immersive engineering lamps, I can't remember what they're called. Let's just search for a lamp. Maybe we'll find it. Not that. Maybe it's not called a lamp. I can't remember what it's called. I know it's from immersive engineering. Anyway, it's a thing that you can power. I think it costs 1 RF per tick, and then it will prevent monsters spawning in a certain area. I'm really not seeing it here. I know it's in here somewhere. I'll have to take a look for it. Anyway, I wonder if we can put some of those like on top of the spawner, and that'll prevent other monsters from spawning. And if that's the case, does it prevent the spawners from working? So that's something else we'll have to figure out. If we can prevent other monsters from spawning in those, I think that would be better overall for our mob spawner in general, just so we don't have to worry about all of the loot from all the possible different mobs that could be spawning in there. Okay, so I'm gonna get those drawers hooked up. We'll probably end up making a drawer slave, I think is what it's called. Is this expensive? No, it's just a drawer, some comparators, which are normal recipe. Yeah, that's not bad. So you can pump items into the slave just like you can pump items into the controller. You can have a bunch of slaves, only one controller. So this just makes it more convenient. We could do that, or we could connect the pipes up directly to the controller again. We'll probably just end up making a slave to make it simpler. But anyway, let me get to it and we'll be back, guys. Alright guys, well I was going to hook the mob spawner up to a slave controller like I was talking about, or a controller slave. As I was doing some things, I came back here and I saw a zombie spawn, fall in this and get killed by the spike, and I was like, oh yeah, ding. If we have the drops go from the chest into this, if we don't have a place for those drops to go, the vacuum chest is going to fill up and we're going to have the same problem that we did over here, and that's why we have the small storage crate. So we need to connect this item conduit over to the crate. That way any stuff that drops in here that's not one of the items will go into the crate first. Or I guess I'll try and go into the drawer controller first and then go into here. So anyway, this thing is not going to work, unfortunately. I was thinking we were going to be smart about it, but unfortunately, nope. It just doesn't work that way. So I could connect this directly over to where our other thing is. Let's see if we remove some of the stuff over here. I think we should be okay to do things like this. Okay, so we could bring that up just one and then connect it right to this. This one has a priority of 5. This one should have a priority of like 0 or -5, or I can't remember what it was that I set that thing to. But anyway, if we just connect those up, that should work just fine. Eventually we'll probably find a use for that drawer slave, I'm sure. But for right now, yeah, that's definitely not going to work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and raise this all up 1, so we could just be a straight shot over. There's no reason to have this thing multi-level anymore. Going down to this particular level down there. Put a row of blocks in. I'll have to grab some more dirt, I think, to fill in the rest of this, but it should be just fine. All right, yeah, we'll just get this all connected here, and that should be all we have to do. So now any of the zombie stuff that gets put into that chest should just go into our small storage crate until we get a chest set up specifically for that, or I guess a drawer. So yeah, I think we should be good to go at this point. To turn this thing on, start collecting all the drops. I'll have to keep my eye on this chest though and make sure that we're not gaining things in there, and that everything else that we're getting in there that we don't have a spot for in the drawer is going into that mini chest, or I guess a small storage crate. Anyway, I'm gonna watch this thing for a while, make sure things are working just fine, and then we'll be back, guys. Alright guys, so I ended up adding in a sound muffler over here just to make things a little bit nicer to be in this general area. I also added one over on this side too. It's just right underneath the center block, I guess diagonal of this grass block. Yeah, just so when we're over here, we're not hearing the monsters at super loud volume and I constantly have to turn the sound down. Anyway, I think it's a lot more manageable now. So we're getting a lot of ender pearls here. Now I noticed in this drawer, we only got up to 512 and then it stopped. It was just voiding them. And I guess that's because ender pearls only stack to 16 and this holds 32 stacks, I guess is what the default. Anyway, so yeah, I ended up putting in a diamond upgrade into this drawer, so that should allow it to hold 8 times the amount, which is going to be a little bit more than I think that these things hold. Like the spider eyes, these stack to 64, 32 stacks is 2048. Anyway, so we'll end up getting a decent amount of these ender pearls eventually. We've gotten a nice amount of these things. I can't remember the dimlet parcels. Yeah, and then we finally filled up on our solidified experience. It was overflowing into this that I saw. So yeah, I ended up putting a void upgrade on this one. That was the only one that was missing a void upgrade. We could probably put in the diamond upgrades into all these things, but we just don't have the resources right now to throw at this. Is not that important. But anyway, I was trying to figure out what it was that we can do with these ender pearls now that we have them. And then I remembered travel anchors were like the original thing, right? Travel anchor. So the travel anchors will allow us to warp around a lot easier in our base, so we don't have to keep spamming our wand to travel. We can just find the anchor, shift right click it, and then we can warp there. It's way better. So in order to make that, we need these ender overseers, which isn't that bad. It's just eyes of ender, redstone, and then obsidian. We can make those pretty easy. Tungsteel ingots, we can make those in the metal alloyer. Again, that's not that bad. Then we also need a teleportation core. That thing does require rose gold, mana pearls. These are just ender pearls thrown into mana, right? That's not so bad. Unstable ender pearl, that does require withered dust. I'm not sure how much of that we have. And then these atomic alloys, which is refined obsidian plus the reinforced alloy and the metallurgic infuser. And then the reinforced is diamond dust plus the enriched alloy and the metallurgic infuser. And the rich is redstone plus iron in here. So it's going to be a little bit of a process to get all of those things going. But I definitely want to make a few of those teleportation cores so we can put these travel anchors around. That's definitely what I want to do. Once we get those done, we'll look at what else we can do with the ender pearls. I'm sure we'll find a lot of good use for them. So anyway, I'm going to start working on that. We need a lot of redstone. In fact, I'll take some of this compressed redstone. I think we'll do 2 of those. Iron. I'll grab 16 iron. We'll make a few of these cores just so I don't have to do it again anytime soon. So we need some refined obsidian ingots. So hold on a second. In order to get the compressed obsidian, so that's refined obsidian dust. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to crush some of that up, or we can make some new stuff. I'll probably just crush that in the crusher, and then we will run that through the enrichment chamber so we can do 8 per. So I just grab 2 of those. So that'll convert that into the next tier, right? Hold on. No, we also need the diamond. The compressed diamond. I believe just diamonds in the thing, the enrichment. Turn those into the compressed ones. Let's check that out. Put a diamond in here and something happens. I should probably also work on getting the upgrades for all of these machines, I think. It would probably be a good idea if we had the speed upgrades and such. Yeah, that's all we need to do. All right, I'll run that one through there. We'll get these other ones going through a crusher. I'll make the atomic alloys, and then we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. Well, I'm having to generate a little bit more mana from Botania in order to make these mana pearls. Should be about ready. There it is. Nice. So we got 16 of those. So I made enough stuff here to make 4 travel anchors. Yeah, each one of those needed 4 of the mana pearls. Just made some tungsteel ingots. Let's see. So we need these ender overseers. So we need eyes of ender, which I don't think we have any of. So there's 16 of those. There is that. So we should be able to make 4 of those. Okay, nice. And then teleportation core. We should have everything in the system for one of those. Or 4 of those. All right, so there's all of that stuff. And then a travel anchor. Nice. Okay, so let's go back to the pearl. Yeah, I guess we're going to need 16 mana pearls for each one of these things. And that right now is the slowest part of this. We have everything else ready to go, I do believe. But yeah, it's just waiting on this mana. We're currently using these endoflames, which is kind of like a very, very basic way of making Botania mana. We can upgrade these flowers and get some better stuff. There's flowers that eat food, which produce mana way faster. There's flowers that will eat your player experience. Like if you're standing on top of it, it'll just suck the experience out of you, produce mana that way. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways we can do this, but right now this is just like the most basic setup. We really should look at investing into something else. But anyway, let's take a look at the travel anchor real quick so you guys can see what this thing is. So if I place it down, I think you can shift right click on it. Oh, you just right click on it, then you can give it a name. So you can just say hi. Public, protected, private, that doesn't really matter. Does protected? Oh, protected down here does this thing. I guess there's some kind of way you can filter it. Anyway, public allows anybody. I'm not sure what all these things do. Haven't really had a chance to mess with those. But anyway, if you hold your staff of traveling, you can see that thing is right there, right? So that's pretty cool. But what's really great about it is you can see it from very, very, very far away. So normally with the staff of traveling, we can only go about, 16 blocks or so. And then we have to keep spamming that. With this, if we just right click it, it brings us right to the travel anchor. So that's really good. So like we were able to come all the way over here. Now, if I were to shift and then click, yeah, we can only go that far, which is less than half the distance, right? These go really far away. I'm not exactly sure how far it is. Is it like 50 blocks? It might be around there. It might be 100. Honestly, I don't know, but we should be able to see those travel anchors no matter where we are in the base. Yeah, you just kind of like point in that direction while holding the wand. Yeah, and then it gets bigger the closer your cursor is to it, which is really cool. So let's see. Back here works. Let's go further back. Wow, okay. Oh man. Okay, so I guess this goes further than I thought it did. Wow. So we're way outside the base. And we can still... Oh, maybe we can't. It's red. Maybe that's why I won't do that. Oh, you know what? I was shift right clicking instead of just right clicking. It might have worked that far away. Now I got to go try this again. I feel like a dummy. Okay, so we were right here. Oh, there it is. Right click. That is awesome. That is really, really good. That's like 200 blocks away. I don't know if that's exactly 200 blocks. That might be 300. I don't know. Seems to work that far away though. So that is really nice. So it saves us having to spam this thing all the time. I believe it uses less power. Yeah, these are just great overall. So we're going to want these things kind of all over. So as I was saying before I got interrupted by Windows telling me to install the latest updates, we're going to want these things all over the base so we can get around way easier. So yes, we're definitely going to want more of those. We're going to want a way to make more mana so we can make those mana pearls easier. Right now I'm just using coal blocks, the bituminous coal, or however you pronounce that. This stuff. This has a burn time of 21,600, which is pretty good. I like that. We can just throw 8 of those down, and then these endo flames go for a little bit of time, which is great. But yeah, we're gonna definitely want a way to make mana faster because this is the bottleneck. All right, guys. Well, I tell you what, I think we're gonna go and wrap the episode up here for today. We were able to get travel anchors finally. We're able to get ender pearls being generated finally. The great thing about that is now we have ender pearls. We should be able to use those to start making a lot of RF power. Yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to end up doing. There's ender generators, and we can speed those up using speed upgrades. So yeah, once we get, I think we're going to want to get ourselves a blaze spawner too, because I do believe the ender pearls make a certain amount, but if you use the Eye of Ender, it makes way more power. Yeah, that's something we'll have to be looking at. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, leave a like on the episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.